Hello there, welcome to Doing Business in Rwanda. We're here in Kinigi where the 19th edition of Kwita Izina is going to take place. 23 newborn baby gorillas are going to be named this year. My name is Julius Bizimongo. Graced by Her Excellency, the First Lady of Rwanda, Jeannette Kagame, the 19th edition of the gorilla naming ceremony was a display of pomp and color as namers, celebrities, invited guests, and the local community gathered at the foothills of Rwanda's Volcanoes National Park in celebration of nature and conservation. This year, the ceremony was celebrated under the theme Conservation is Life. It attracted namers from across the globe, including movie and music celebrities, former sports legends, key investors, conservationists, and leaders of international organizations. As First Lady Jeannette Kagame put it, conservation is not a virtuous act to boast about, but an obligation.
Conservation, our dear friends from across the world, is not a virtuous act for which we should pat ourselves on the back. Conservation is what we owe the earth that has nourished us. Conservation is the first layer of gratitude that we must express for a Mother Nature that has granted us survival, shelter, nourishment, and wonder from our very first days as a species. It seems almost unbelievable that while this earth is humanity's most precious gift, its sources and origin of life, we have found the recklessness to abuse it over and over again. Because, as we all know, as has been stated by the conservation experts that have spoken before me, nature will persist without us, but we cannot persist without it.
Rwanda has been intentional and has invested heavily in building its tourism industry, which has aided the country's recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic.
Nature-based tourism has been the cornerstone of our recovery since the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm happy to share that we are set to exceed our pre-pandemic tourism revenues this year, 2023. I wish to thank everyone working in the tourism industry for their resilience and continued commitment to our Visit Rwanda goals. The results speak for themselves. Our tourism revenues for the first half of 2023 increased by 56% compared to the same period last year. We are confident that investments we are making, including our newest partnership with FC Bayern Munich, adding to the existing ones, Arsenal and PSG, will only strengthen Rwanda's tourism sector.
Since it commenced 19 years ago, Kwita Izina has evolved with the population of the mountain gorillas growing significantly.
Since Kwita Izina began, 374 baby mountain gorilla have been named, and the population in the Virunga Massif has grown by 23% over the last decades. This remarkable achievement would not have been possible without the communities living around the park, dedicated conservationists, researchers, as well as visionary leadership. Through our unique tourism revenue sharing program, Rwanda reinvests 10% of park tourism receipts into the communities surrounding the park. To date, close to $10 million have been invested in more than 1,000 projects in communities living adjacent to the Volcanoes National Park, Akagera National Park, Gishwati Mukura, and Nyungwe National Park.
The Volcanoes National Park is home to a huge population of the mountain gorillas. The plan to expand 23% of the park's current area, a project estimated at $255 million, is underway.
So far, many feasibility studies in terms of ways of quantifying how many people will be affected, in terms of figuring out the expropriation and relocation, and the alternative livelihoods. So a lot has been going on. One thing that we are narrowing to is the pilot of the project. So we know that in the next 2-3 years, we'll be starting, we know we'll be, where we'll be starting, we know who will be affected, and in terms of the project to accompany the process, everything we are dealing with the final details, and of course making sure that when we do it, we manage the safeguard, and we have partners on board.
The African Wildlife Foundation has been involved in conservation work in Rwanda over the years and is an important partner in the park's expansion.
AWF's been working in Rwanda for many, many years and has always focused on conservation and development side by side, with very much people at the center. And so at this point in time, we're very excited about the park expansion opportunity and playing a role in making that happen and being able to take this whole excitement that you see here to even a whole nother level. And so it's very, very exciting.
The communities living around the Volcanoes National Park remain at the heart and soul of the conservation efforts, with the government's revenue sharing scheme ensuring that they reap the benefits of conservation. More than 500 projects, including schools, hospitals, water supply systems, public markets, and other income-generating activities have been initiated across 12 sectors that surround the park since the introduction of Kwita Izina in 2005.
Kwita Izina being the celebration of conservation and the community development transformation. So we have actually, as part of the Kwita Izina celebration, we have already communicated how much we are going to give back to communities, supporting community development. And when you look at the tourism revenues and the 10% revenue sharing percentage, it's far over 50% increase from last year, and far better than 2019 before COVID. So again, we are celebrating, the recovery from the critical period, a good year, good tourism, and how these revenues and the conservation efforts are helping both conservation and the community empowerment, because tourism here is everything. It's the park, it's the employment, it's the hotel services, many kind of services and people, communities who are looking at the Volcanoes National Park, the good tourism as a driver for the livelihoods, for employment, and for the local economy, as well as the national economy.
We have built schools, homes for vulnerable families, water supply system, as well as modern markets and community health centers. Just last week, we inaugurated 2 new projects, a maternity yard and a potato seed center that were developed as a result of direct consultation with the communities in Nyaruguru district in the southern province. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of this year's Kwita Izina ceremony, we also held a conservation exhibition in Musanze district and co-hosted the Business of Conservation Conference with the African Leadership University.
Mountain gorillas remain an exciting tourist attraction in Rwanda. However, players in the industry are looking to diversify the tourism offerings. According to Gregory Bakunzi, CEO and founder of Red Rocks Rwanda, culture tourism has much more to offer.
First of all, we take them through our cooking. Most of the people, they travel to taste the different food and taste, so we give them like cooking classes. So where they go to the market, they buy different types of food, they bring them down here, they cook them with our local communities, they enjoy them. And this is exactly what I was also doing there. So we take them through artwork. So we show them and we try to relate the artwork with nature, culture, and historical. And that's what we are doing. Once you go out here, you're going to see some also cooperatives that are involved in the pottery. That's also another thing that we engage in. You're going to see different groups here that are doing the weaving. And this is the kind of the experience that we have been offering since 25th of last month. And now we are here for the gorilla naming ceremony. So it's an event that we carry on every once a year before the gorilla naming ceremony.
The COVID-19 pandemic saw the tourism industry worldwide come to a screeching halt in 2020. However, the UNWTO is optimistic that international tourism will consolidate its recovery in 2023.
We are very happy to see that the recovery is there. We reach, talking about the African continent, around 60-65% back to the best year 2018-19. And let's forget COVID, let's concentrate more on the future, and let's invest in infrastructure, let's invest in education, and let's invest in promotion of the continent. I say many times that African culture and nature is not as well presented outside of the continent as it deserves, and we are committed to support and to promote more African tourism worldwide.
This child we are naming is from Mutobo, or the Mutobo family. The mother is Mudukama, and we've decided to name this baby Narame, which translates to long life.
The name I give him is Nganzo, which means origin, the source. I chose this name to recognize the role of conservation and wildlife as a source of prosperity for community. Above all, for its essentiality for the health of our planet.
The 19th edition of Kwita Izina has just concluded here in Kennedy. 23 newborn baby gorillas have been named. This marks a major milestone in Rwanda's efforts to promote conservation. And next year marks the 20th edition, and the Rwanda development has announced that it's going to be bigger and better, as all the namers who were part of the previous editions are going to congregate here again to name newborn baby gorillas. That's all we had for this edition of Doing Business in Rwanda. See you next time.